All right, what's up, all you good, wonderful citizens of Crypt Nation? It is Bryce here, coming at you with yet another daily crypto market update. And today, another day, another bank CEO coming out and commenting on cryptocurrencies and the future of Bitcoin, right? So we have James Gorman, CEO of a little company known as Morgan Stanley. And this guy, he comes out today, and it's his quarterly earnings call, right? So he had his third quarter earnings call for Morgan Stanley today. And he basically was saying that cryptocurrencies, they're not a fad. They're here to stay. Blockchain technology is revolutionary. And you know, he actually refuted what his competitor, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, had said. So, you know, I love that these sorts of conversations are continuing to unfold in public discourse. And again, when you have the CEO of a large bank like Morgan Stanley, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap, and he starts to, you know, kind of validate this space, I think it's always something to look out for. And so that happened on, you know, this quarter's earnings call. And who do you think the people are that are listening to Morgan Stanley's earnings calls, right? Other investors, right? Other banks. And they're always looking for signals, right? And they're starting to find that people are signaling very bullish, right? People at the highest levels of traditional financing are signaling bullish, signaling acceptance of cryptocurrencies. That's a good sign because it helps shape the sentiment, right? The sentiment of this entire industry. So what I also think is happening is that the ProShares Bitcoin ETF will start trading, I think, on October 18th. And I've talked about this like at length this week in my market updates, but it's like a really big event. And a lot of people are saying that that basically like it's already a done deal. And how it kind of works, as far as I know, is that unless the SEC comes out and says something that says, no, you cannot like explicitly trade, unless an SEC comes out with something within the next few days, the ProShares Bitcoin ETF will be trading on Monday, okay? So with that in mind, something else that we have reported on over the course of this week was kind of an interesting phenomenon. This interesting phenomenon was that the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, has had a kind of an elevated basis, meaning the futures contracts are pretty expensive relative to how normally expensive they are over there. And particularly, they're more expensive right now than the offshore futures contracts, which is always the opposite, right? Typically, the offshore futures contracts traded a premium to the onshore ones. And so when we have now the CME, which are backing, the CME futures contracts are what underpin the ProShares Bitcoin ETF, I actually am hypothesizing or kind of conjecturing that ProShares as an ETF manager has actually been buying Bitcoin ETF or Bitcoin futures that back their ETF that should be trading on Monday. And I think that they, this sort of, you could see the open interest on the CME has risen by like $2 billion over the course of the last couple weeks. Whereas like the open interest on Bybit or Deribit, some of these offshore exchanges haven't really risen. So it shows you that the quality of investor who has been buying up, Bitcoin futures and spiking the basis, throwing things into contango, right? One of my favorite words in markets, which means when the futures contracts are more expensive than spot, whereas backwardation is kind of like a bad sign when the futures contract is less than spot. But anyhow, there's a lot of interesting dynamics at play, and you got to keep up with them. I think we're going to be going into a phase where Bitcoin's going to be, outperforming altcoins, perhaps for just a little bit, right? As a lot of people get really excited about this, fundamental, huge event, because once a Bitcoin ETF gets approved, that means like that's when the pension funds could start investing, heavy duty, big ass mutual funds, pardon my language, they could start investing in, these regulated products. And I think it's going to be a really, really big deal. So that's why we talked about it so much this week. And that's the market update. Okay. And guys, If you aren't already following our research that we provide for you guys on a daily basis to our subscribers, if you're not already, getting our crypto model portfolios and our day-to-day picks of hot coins, and if you're not already plugged in to a community of over 10,000 crypto traders and investors, well then today's your lucky day, because for just $1 you guys could hit that big orange button below, and you guys could sign up for just $1 2-week trial. So I encourage you guys to do that. And with that being said, I bid you adieu, happy trading, and don't get shaken out, because this is just the beginning, I think, of the next wave of a massive bull run. Good stuff, guys.